Thank you, Baisam. A'udhu billahi samil alim minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. As Baisam mentioned, that the A'immat Tahirin and Duat al-Akrameen have always been guiding us to think innovatively and create new things in all fields and make progress in order to uplift ourselves, our societies, and transform our civilizations. Today, we are focusing on innovations in architecture and planning and what the Fatemi dynasty's golden age has taught us and what our duats are teaching us today. As we start exploring the achievements of the Fatemi dynasties, let us take a few minutes to understand the basic definition of architecture. What is architecture? Architecture is the art and science of designing buildings and other physical structures. Although, as soon as you start the process of designing a building form, you are immediately confronted with various aspects to consider. The building materials you can use, and why and what is available in the region, the building techniques available in the region, the preferences and taste of the people and their hopes and desires, the traditions and beliefs of the people in the region, the philosophy and culture of the people, their politics, their wealth, and their religion. It is all these aspects that provide the reason for the form of the building in architecture. Creating architecture that is truly a landmark of that civilization and an embodiment of its culture requires a lot of progress in terms of thinking, discovery, and innovation. The Fatemi dynasty was a role model because their driving force was education, innovation, and research in all areas of human pursuit. Fatemi Imams and their nations were not afraid of thinking and working on ideas, which ushered in a new era of enlightenment and prosperity. The evolution of Fatemi architecture and innovation dates back to Mahdiya, which was established by Imam Mahdi Billah when we first begin to see Fatemi city planning and architecture of monumental scale, which required extensive innovation in technology. Baisab mentioned earlier the innovations of the port chains used as nautical gates and glass pivot hinges used to move monumental iron gates. And here we also begin to see the emergence of Fatemi building typology of a landmark scale in the fortification, the palaces, the great masjid. When Al-Mansuriya replaced Mahdiya as the capital of the Fatemi Empire, the city of Al-Mansuriya was built on 250 acres in a circular shape, and the fortification walls were about 20 feet wide. Soon thereafter, Imam Muiz conquered Egypt. Imam Muiz envisioned and established a whole new city to the north of Fustat and called it Al-Qahira. There are numerous major innovations in architecture that emerged from the Fatemi development of Al-Qahira. The design invention of the four-centered keel arch, which we see behind us, created a whole new method of transferring load from above and was an improvement over the semicircular Roman arches and became uniquely known as the Fatemi arch. The Fatemi pointed arch was widely adopted in Western Gothic architecture and became known as the Gothic arch. Similarly, the corner squinch was also a Fatemi creation, which became the most common means of rising from a square to a dome. Another unique Fatemi invention was the Makarna squinch design, which consisted of 4 units, a niche bracketed by 2 niche segments, superimposed with an additional niche. The Rawdat al-Tahira is a prime example of the Fatemi squinch, where we see a Fatemi pointed dome rising from a square building below at a monumental scale. Even today, we are living in an age of enlightenment and an era of prosperity and knowledge. And our duats are inspiring us to constantly innovate and not be afraid of working on ambitious ideas. Aqa Mola farmaye છે કે તમારા ઇરાદા બી એવા મજબૂત હોય. આ મિસલ મોટા મોટા કામ કરો અને નવી નવી ચીઝને ઇન્વેન્ટ કરો. Rawdat al-Tahira could be considered one of the first monumental religious mausoleums of Fatemi architecture in modern times. It was an extremely complex and innovative accomplishment from many aspects. From an architectural standpoint, it is the most pure expression of Fatemi architectural heritage of the pointed dome and the squinches found in Al-Qahira and expressed in a monumental manner with a massive structure of 5 feet thick walls and an RCC dome incorporating modern building techniques. The Fatemi Duats are now engaged in the creation of one of the most complex urban planning projects of modern times, considered India's largest ever urban planning project. The creation of an extremely dense city of Fatemi grandeur around the Rodat Tahira and the new Sefi Masjid, incorporating all the 4 aspects of Fatemi institutions, the Masjid, the Manzil, the Madrasa, and the Mujtama, in the master development. The SBUT project involves redevelopment of 280 buildings spread across 16.5 acres in a densely populated area requiring immense planning and innovation in the architecture and building technology, including logistics of demolition and relocation of about 1,250 businesses and 3,200 families. This project is a testament to the innovation and advancement required to achieve the ambitious undertakings of the Fatemi Duats for the upliftment of Fatemi community. We are seeing innovation in the process of planning and construction in projects such as the Sefi Hospital in Mumbai. It was an extremely narrow site which required very innovative planning to accommodate a hospital of this magnitude on that site. When constructed at 236 feet, it was the tallest hospital in Fatemi architecture, with modern curtain walls of glass incorporated with keel-shaped arches and projected portals and domes. Innovatively coupling these Fatemi features with contemporary techniques created a monument that is at once modern and traditional. It is also the first hospital in Mumbai to include an in-house water treatment facility that meets the WHO standards for potable water. As the architect for the Houston Masjid and a practicing architect in the United States for over 2 decades, I have experienced that architecture is a continuous process of innovation and research all along the way. As Bhai Sahab mentioned earlier, at the beginning of any project, an architect is faced with a design problem, and innovation helps to effectively solve this problem. I will now share my experiences as architect of the Houston Masjid, where we had to offer creative solutions to many problems. During the design of the Houston Masjid, we faced complex code issues relating to the fire protection, where we were required to put 4 large smoke exhaust fans in the center of this 3-story open atrium ceiling within the masjid. We innovatively solved this problem by offering to provide a unique, continuous 12-inch opening along the entire perimeter for smoke exhaust instead of the center of the roof, thereby preserving the integrity of the design heritage while achieving an acceptable solution. We also provided a unique and innovative approach to mounting the speakers by suspending them with cables from the ceiling instead of mounting them on the walls and achieving remarkable acoustics. While installing the Qibla marble, we faced a challenge of techniques that are unique to different regions of the world. The marble for the Qibla arrived from India, where they installed it with mortar to the masonry wall backup. In Houston, we had to create a mechanical anchor system with epoxy that was attached to the marble and mounted on a steel framework, which required an innovative approach. Another challenge we faced was to utilize stained glass, which was crafted in Pakistan, and it is a single pane of glass. In the US, we use double pane insulated glazed units in windows. So we had to import the single pane art glass and create IG units here and then send the IG units to the window manufacturer to achieve the desired character we required. Similarly, when it came to the air conditioning and heating systems, the supply and return air vents were incorporated very creatively into the traditional pattern inscriptions on the walls and the ceilings. The walls had marble grill vents, and the ceiling had special water jet cut supply and return air grills. Even the speakers were incorporated into the overall design at the corners of the ceilings. At our firm, we are currently working on a very large $1.8 billion water purification plant campus. This campus has 40 buildings, housing complex pumps, machinery, generators, and transformers. There is also a 3-story administration building. It is an extremely complex project and requires innovative solutions on a regular basis to continue to make progress. This project was planned on a progressive design-build project delivery method. This is one of the most innovative methodologies being adopted where traditional design, bid, build method would take many years for the design and build the project. Progressive design build is a method where design and construction both happen simultaneously, saving a lot of time. As phases of design are completed, the construction packages are released to proceed. This innovative approach of progressive design build reduced the time frame from 8 years to 4 years and the cost from $2.5 billion to $1.8 billion. Our firm is working on many projects at the Houston airport, and we are involved in many innovations on a regular basis to solve unique problems there. For example, we're designing touchless public bathrooms where there are no doors and everything is automatic and sensor operated. The main entrance is a U shape to allow the flow but control the sight lines. The door to the stalls are sensor operated, and all the water faucets and soap dispensers and dryers are all sensor operated, allowing for a completely touchless experience in the bathroom. Another challenge at the airport system is the IoT, the Internet of Things. The Internet of Things revolution that is about to sweep the world as soon as the 5G technology becomes mainstream. The airport has massive amounts of air conditioning systems, electrical systems, plumbing systems, interactive wayfinding signage, lighting systems, and soon everything is about to become interactive and controlled by handheld devices. Architecturally, our firm is helping the airport master plan the transition from static elements to interactive elements and design and plan the consumer experience. This is an extremely unique challenge, and we have to innovate to find desirable solutions. Our firm is also working on several dementia centers. Dementia centers pose a very unique design problem when we have to deal with the elderly who also have dementia. People with dementia get disoriented and anxious in large buildings and amongst big crowds. This type of a challenge requires research and innovation at many levels for the safety, security, and comfort of the residents. So we developed a unique 16-bed model of memory care home that is the most innovative in the senior living industry today. We have built 8 homes to date. In this home, we have incorporated unique features suitable for the residents. For example, certain dementia residents cannot turn back when they come to the end of a hallway. So we avoid dead-end hallways and create continuous loops everywhere. There are certain colors that work better for those with dementia. So we incorporate those colors in their rooms, in dining areas, living areas, to stimulate certain responses. They also remember their younger self and do not recognize themselves today. So we create memory boxes and provide those memory boxes at their doors in their rooms so that they can recognize their space. Today, there are 50 million people worldwide who suffer from dementia. Yet, it is a very unknown disease, and little design standards have developed so far. So, we have taken a very innovative approach, and we have created a very unique model of our own. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. खुदा अपना आका ने मौला आली कदर मुफद्दल सैफुद्दीन मौलानी उम्र शरीफ ने तारोज क़यामत दराज कर जो आमीन. I will now turn it over to my fellow colleague, architect Arfakshad Bhai Munaim from Los Angeles for his comments. Thank you.